How do you assess the current state of our bilateral relationships right now?
Iran and Indonesia has always had very close and friendly relations, and also in the field of the economy, we are doing our best to make it better. Some Indonesian companies are ready to go to Iran and work with Iranian sites in the field of the coffee and chocolate and everything. So we are negotiating right now, and I hope that this negotiation would be very fruitful and we will witness the actual cooperation in the near future. Iran and Indonesia are very important middle powers in the region of Western Asia and Southeast Asia, and we have a very big role to make and prevent the peace and stability in these two regions.
Selama 7 dekade, Indonesia dan Iran telah menikmati hubungan diplomatik yang dilandasi oleh semangat solidaritas dan juga kerjasama. Memasuki tahun ke-76 hubungan bilateral, kini hubungan kedua negara fokus pada pengarahan ketahanan ekonomi, energi, dan juga kemandirian nasional. Selamat datang di International Corner Antara bersama saya, Arya Sindiara. Untuk membahas lebih lanjut masa depan hubungan Indonesia dan juga Iran, hari ini telah bergabung bersama saya Duta Besar Iran untuk Indonesia, His Excellency Mohammad Boroujerdi. Mr. Ambassador, welcome to International Corner.
Thank you very much, and good morning to you and all your audience.
Good morning, and thank you so much for coming into our newsroom today. And I'd like to jump straight into our bilateral relations and economic cooperation today. Iran and Indonesia have enjoyed diplomatic relations for 70 years, coming into our 76th year now. How do you assess the current state of our bilateral relationships right now?
Yeah, actually, as you know, that Iran and Indonesia relation is not limited to 75 years or 76 years. Iran and Indonesia has always, during the history, had very good relation with each other. I mean, the relation between people to people and also the local governments to government. And from 76 years ago, almost 76 years ago, we established a bilateral diplomatic relation between the two countries. And until now, we had no political problem with each other. We have always had very friendly relation between the two countries. In the field of the politics, in the field of the international organizations and international relations, and about the most international subject or issues, and also in the field of the culture and religion and everything, Iran and Indonesia has always had very close and friendly relation. And also in the field of the economy, we are doing our best to make it better. We believe that it's not enough, but still we have a lot of capacity to take care of.
Under President Prabowo Subianto's administration right now, in the beginning of their term, they had introduced the Asta Cita vision as their strategic vision, which includes some key priorities such as strengthening national self-reliance in terms of food, energy, and also water security. I wonder, how do you see Iran playing the role of a strategic partner in these sectors in the vision?
From the beginning of the President Prabowo's administration, I met with some officials, including some ministers, and also His Excellency President Prabowo himself, and I always declared Iranian government and companies' readiness to come to Indonesia and help in that regard. You know that Iran is one of the most important regional and sometimes international countries in the field of the energy, and also in the field of the food security. So I declared that Iran is ready, Iranian companies are ready to help in that area. We are paving the way, we are discussing, we are negotiating with some Indonesian companies, and in the field of the food security, we have paved some steps to reach the ideal cooperation between the two countries. Also in the field of the energy, when I talk about the energy, I'm not talking only about the oil and gas, also about the new, energies. We are ready to have the cooperation with Indonesia, and we are doing our best to make the connection between the two sides to be happen. And after that, I hope that we will have a very better relation in the field of the economy. But we are ready to help in that area.
Can you share with us maybe some of the tangible projects that are in the pipeline right now that you can tell us about in this cooperations?
Yeah, actually, we are in the field of we are in the phase of the negotiation between the companies. We believe that some Iranian milk products, some Iranian fruit products, some Iranian food products, they are ready to come here and work with their Indonesian counterparts, and also vice versa. Some Indonesian companies are ready to go to Iran and work with Iranian sides in the field of the coffee and chocolate and everything. So we are negotiating right now, and I hope that this negotiation would be very fruitful, and we will witness the actual cooperation in the near future. Thank you.
Right. And as we approach our 76th year in our diplomatic relations, what are other areas that Iran would like to expand on, or maybe new economic, industrial, or technology cooperation that Iran would like to explore with Indonesia?
Yeah. As you know, Iran is one of the very advanced countries of the world in the field of the new technologies. For example, Iran is very good in the field of the nanotechnology, biotechnology, nuclear peaceful technology, as well as the healthcare technology, healthcare equipment production, maybe agricultural technology, and many new technologies in that area that I know that Indonesia is so interested to have the cooperation in that fields. Now we have a close relation with some Indonesian agencies and governmental bodies like BRAIN and others in the field of the transferring technology to Indonesia, and also in the field of the other areas like drones. When we talk about drone, usually we think that it's only for war, but it's not. You know that there are many peaceful means for using drones in the agriculture and other economic areas. So we are right now making the cooperation between the two sides, Iran and Indonesian companies, happen, and negotiation to be happen through webinar, or even to come here or go Iran and talk about that. If the Indonesian companies are interested in to work in that areas, we as the embassy are ready to make the connection between the two sides to be realized, to be happen.
Okay. It's interesting that you mentioned transfer of technology, because our administration right now, the President Prabowo's administration, also wants to strengthen human resources development. So would you say that that's also part of Iran being a strategic partner in this sense?
Of course. Actually, Iran is one of the very rare countries of the world that we developed our technologies domestically. We did not import any kind of domestic technologies, because you know that it's almost 47 years that Iran has been under very severe sanctions from the United States, and we could not import any kind of technology. So Iranian could manage to develop and to produce their own new technologies and advanced technologies, and they have the knowledge by themselves. So we are ready to have the cooperation in the field of the human resources also in that area with Indonesia. We are ready to bring our companies to have their factories to be established in Indonesia, and it means that we are ready to transfer the technology to Indonesia, and also we are ready to take the Indonesian engineers, students, everybody to go to Iran and to just study in the Iranian universities or Iranian even companies or factories and learn the new technologies and come back to Indonesia. Yeah. I believe that we right now we are offering full scholarship to Indonesian students who are interested to go to study in Iran, and I have just sent the information to Indonesian government, and we are waiting to introduce some students in any field of the technology and science that Indonesian students are interested to go to Iran. We are ready to offer them some full scholarship in that area as well. So that's we are trying to do with Indonesia. The situation is a little bit difficult because of the threats that we receive from some foreign countries in the region, but still we have this negotiation with Indonesian counterparts, and we are ready to cooperate in that area.
All right, Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much for your insightful answers. That's the end of our first segment, but we still have two more segments where we'll talk more about global and regional issues. So thank you so much for joining us for our first segment.
Thank you too. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Baik pemirsa, demikian perbincangan saya dengan Duta Besar Iran untuk Indonesia, His Excellency Mohammad Boroujerdi. Sampai jumpa di segmen 2 International Corner.
A program that brings the world to your screen through insightful dialogues, exploring various issues with international figures. How do you view this?
It gives more visibility to Indonesia in France.
Revealing various facts regarding bilateral, regional, and multilateral cooperation in numerous sectors. Welcome back, Mr. Ambassador, to our second segment.
I'm Grazia Simajunta, the producer and host.
And I'm your host, Arya Sidiara. Join us on International Corner.
Obrolan seputar isu paling hangat jangan dengar dari sembarang sumber.
Di sini, podcast yang mengundang narasumber pakar dan ahli terpercaya. Podcast Antara on the record, podcast Antara close up.
Simak ya, hanya di
antaranews.com/video
dan YouTube Antara TV Indonesia. Jadilah yang lebih dulu dalam menerima informasi yang tengah menjadi perbincangan di jagat publik.
Sebelumnya, Mary Jane sudah mengajukan gerasi, namun ditolak.
Kami sajikan dengan narasi dan infografis yang mudah dicerna oleh halayak. Desain mengotak dengan streamline-nya membuatnya tampak gahar sekaligus elegan.
Saksikan hanya di Perantara, tayang setiap hari Minggu di portal antaranews.com.
Dan setiap hari Senin di kanal YouTube Antara TV Indonesia.
Pastikan tidak ketinggalan setiap episodenya.
Pergeseran tatanan dunia menghadirkan berbagai tantangan bagi negara-negara di dunia dan tak terkecuali untuk Iran dan juga untuk Indonesia. Selamat datang kembali di International Corner Antara, masih bersama saya, Duta Besar Iran untuk Indonesia, His Excellency Mohammad Boroujerdi. Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you again for inviting me here. Thank you very much.
I would like to jump straight into some of the issues about tariff and sanctions. As we know, the U.S. President Donald Trump has stated that countries that are conducting business with Iran could face a 25% tariff on their trade with the U.S. How does Iran view this policy, and what steps are your government taking in response to this?
Yeah, actually, at the moment that I'm talking to you, there are many countries, maybe more than 100 countries that we have economic relation with them, and they have no problem about what United States says. All the independent countries believe that the United States is not the king of the world. They cannot dictate their rules to the independent countries like Indonesia. They are making some problems for us, but this is not new for us. It's more than 47 years that we have been under very severe sanctions from the United States. But still, you see that not only we have a better economy, we have a better country, but also you can see that Iran has been improved itself, has been developed itself. You can compare Iran today with Iran 75, 76 years ago. You can see that everything in the field of the education, also technology, also economy, and all of them has been developed a lot. So all the world believes that whatever the big powers dictate is not compulsory to, just obey. And nowadays also they are threatening other countries. They are trying to make cautions for the companies to come and work with Iran, but still that we have our relation with the other countries. I tell to the Indonesian countries that don't afraid, they can do nothing, and any company and any country that has regular relation with Iran, they are benefiting a lot. So please do not make sanctions on yourself. That's what I am assessing about that. Thank you.
All right, sir. But beyond sanctions on Iran, perhaps, the U.S. tariff policies are also expected to affect global trade dynamics in a more broad sense. I wonder how you view countries such as Indonesia and Iran can work together to mitigate these impacts and also prevent escalating trade tensions.
Yeah, that during maybe a few months or 1 or 2 years, this kind of threats has affected the global economy a lot, and many of the countries are suffering from the threats that they receive every day about the tariffs and everything in the world. We believe that independent countries like Indonesia and Iran, they must continue their regular economic cooperation, and if they are afraid, the situation would be so worse. So if they want to just pass this difficult era, they must expand the cooperation between the two countries, bilaterally and multilaterally. Go ahead and show the United States that they cannot dictate their rules to the world, to the whole world. They are one country, they can have cooperation with others, and there is no problem with that. But they cannot, make rule for the today modern world. Yes, thank you.
Right, sir. I'd like to move into the issue in Palestine, on the situation in Palestine. What role do you see Iran do for itself in supporting peace efforts, including the discussions on the two-state solution?
We don't believe that any kind of peace solution will work in the Palestine, because if we are, rational people, we see that during last more than 75 years, the Zionist regime of Israel is not committed to any kind of agreement or treaty or any kind of peace or even ceasefire. You can see that the ceasefire and peace has already established between the Zionist regime of Israel and some neighbors like Lebanon, Syria, even Gaza itself. But you can see that every day they are still attacking these countries. So the occupier regime, like Zionist regime of Israel, they are not going to be committed to any kind of peace process. Whenever they feel they are strong enough to attack, they attack their neighbors. During last decades, Israel has attacked all its neighbors and has started almost 20 big wars in the region. So they only stop attacking others and they only stop occupation when they feel they are not strong enough to attack. And if you want anything to work in the region, you must go for the democracy, for the people of the Palestine to choose what they want. Any kind of dictation from the countries like the United States that we believe that they are not neutral and they are taking sides, it's not going to work in the region.
So
we are not going to prevent any kind of peace process. We are just estimating that the situation. We're saying that it's not going to work.
So in this sense, Mr. Ambassador, how can Iran and Indonesia then work together and contribute both bilaterally and through multilateral platforms to promote peace, dialogue, and also humanitarian solutions, of course, most importantly, in Gaza?
I believe that Iran and Indonesia are very important middle powers in the region of Western Asia and Southeast Asia. And we have a very big role to make and prevent the peace and stability in these two regions. Everybody in the world will witness that when in the 12 days war, Israelis tried to just expand the tension to other countries and to the Persian Gulf region. Iran did its best to prevent the regionalized war, and we tried to just keep the war inside Iran and between Iran and the Zionist regime of Israel. They tried to take the war to the very important Strait of the Hormuz and also the Persian Gulf. We prevented them and we just again kept the war inside Iran and also the Zionist regime of Israel and occupied lands. So also Indonesia, I am so happy that Indonesia is standing in the right side of the history to defend the rights of the suppressed people of Palestine. We believe that if we want to have a very important role in the history, we must talk to each other more, and we must just estimate the new ways that we can work in the spreading the peace and security in the region. I believe that Indonesia is playing a very important role. I hope that our cooperation would be more fruitful.
Very strong answers indeed, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you right back for our last segment.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Baik pemirsa, demikian perbincangan saya dengan Duta Besar Iran untuk Indonesia, His Excellency Mohammad Boroujerdi. Terima kasih telah menyaksikan segmen kedua kami. Sampai jumpa di segmen selanjutnya.
Obrolan seputar isu paling hangat, jangan dengar dari sembarang sumber.
Di sini, podcast yang mengundang narasumber pakar dan ahli terpercaya. Podcast Antara on the record, podcast Antara close up.
Simak ya, hanya di
antaranews.com/video dan YouTube Antara TV Indonesia.
a program that brings the world to your screen through insightful dialogues, exploring various issues with international figures. How do you view this?
It gives more visibility to Indonesia in France.
Revealing various facts regarding bilateral, regional, and multilateral cooperation in numerous sectors. Welcome back, Mr. Ambassador, to our second segment.
I'm Grazia Simajunta, the producer and host.
And I'm your host, Arya Sidiara. Join us on International Corner.
Halo pecinta sepak bola Indonesia. Tahu nggak, di 1952 ada Tony Pogas nih. warga negara Yugoslavia yang harus lewati lobi politik dulu untuk latih timnas Indonesia. Nah, itu baru satu fakta. Masih banyak lagi hal seru dan fakta menarik tentang sejarah dan sosok-sosok penting sepak bola di tanah air. Saksikan hanya di Sport Antara.
Peran negara-negara berkembang kian relevan di tengah tatanan global yang bergeser, dan Forum Developing Aid atau D8 hadir sebagai wadah kerjasama dan memperkuat solidaritas untuk kemakmuran bersama. Selamat datang kembali di International Corner Antara bersama saya Arya Sindiara. Hari ini masih bersama saya Duta Besar Iran untuk Indonesia, His Excellency Mohammad Boroujerdi. Mr. Ambassador, in our last segment, I'd like to talk about Indonesia's leadership in the D8 and also the solidarity of developing countries. And Indonesia is hosting the D8 summit this year under the theme Navigating Global Shifts, Strengthening Equality, Solidarity, and Cooperation for Shared Prosperity. How do you assess the relevance of this theme in addressing, current global challenges that we're facing?
Yeah, I think it's very relevant in this situation that the world is facing some kind of chaos, and also with the bullying of some big countries in the economic area. We believe that the countries, the independent countries and also Islamic countries that actually are 9 countries right now, they need to have more cooperation, solidarity and closeness to just face the new situation in the economic era, because you know that in 1997 that the D8 group has been formed. The main goal and a scope for the group was to reach some kind of cooperation in the field of the economic development. I believe this is the time that all the plans and all they were thinking about must be realized, must be formalized, and they have to go actually to do some kind of economic cooperation. We believe that this kind of gathering in the world will help the countries to cooperate with each other and just get some kind of better situation and development.
What are Iran's expectations and aspirations maybe for Indonesia or regarding Indonesia's leadership in the D8 during the 2026-2027 period?
Yeah, Indonesia has shown that they are very good in the managing this kind of situation. You know that from 1997, 1998, that the economic crisis in the world happened until now. Indonesia has always kept its economic growth in a very good condition, and also for cooperating with other countries like ASEAN, APEC and others. Indonesia has shown that it is a very cooperative country and a country that care for the solidarity and cooperation between the other countries. So I believe that the presidency of Indonesia on D8 group will help this organization to be managed better, and the cooperation between the member countries to be much better than before.
Right. How do you view the future prospects for trade and investment among the members of D8, including the role of the PTA, the Preferential Trade Agreement, especially maybe in the middle of the global economic slowdown right now?
Yeah, and as I mentioned before, the other countries treats for more tariffs, for making some tariffs and non-tariffs problems for the regional and international trade is not bonding. If the countries like D8 group, they decide to cooperate with each other, they can have many ways, tariff and non-tariff ways, to make the cooperation to be easier and formalized between themselves. For example, if they reduce the tariffs between themselves, so even any kind of tariff threats happen from outside, from United States, from other countries that try to make problem for the international trade and investment, does not work anymore because they have their domestic and internal cooperation already, and they are not going to obey any kind of tariffs from outside this grouping.
Yeah.
So it makes them to have the cooperation between each other without any fear from outside about the tariffs or even non-tariffs barriers.
So maybe taking back into the talks on peace in the region, as developing nations, what do you think can be the concrete coordinated actions that the D8 member states can take in order to provide meaningful support for the Palestinian cause?
I always say that we decide about something that is not in our hand, and we don't decide about something we can actually do. If we are going to help the Palestinian people, we must help them through economic aids as well as to make some economic sanctions on the occupiers that they are attacking the suppressed people of Palestine. In Gaza, everybody knows that around more than 75,000 people has been killed, that most of them are women and children. So that's the face of a human rights that we are just now witnessing in the world. If any country wants to help Palestine, if we decide about the peace, because one side of this peace, imagination does not believe in any kind of peace, so it is not going to happen. If you want any kind of peace to happen in the areas, you must put the pressure on the Zionist regime of Israel to stop occupying Palestinian lands, to stop attacking the lands, and to stop just attacking other countries, other neighboring countries. Recognizing the Zionist regime of Israel, I don't know how it is going to help the Palestinian people. You are going to go and recognize some occupiers as the state to help their enemies. I don't know how does it work. So if we really want to help the Palestinian, we must think of some kind of democracy in the land. Why the democracy and human rights and this kind of words is good for the rest of the world, but not for the Palestine. We must pass from this kind of double standards. If democracy is good, it's also good for the suppressed people of Palestine. Just let them to come and choose what they want, all of them. No problem if they are Muslim, they are Jewish, they are Christian and other religions. No problem what kind of race they are from, what kind of religion they are from. All the Palestinian, including all the religions, come together, just participate in a general election, and whatever they choose, everybody, including us, we are going to accept that. We believe that the only way that we are going to help the people of Palestine is to just put away the double standards and go for the real democracy and real caring for the human rights in that area. Thank you.
In the end of the day, we all want real peace in the region and in the world, right, Mr. Ambassador?
Yes,
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador, for joining us. That is the end of our third segment, and we've had such wonderful discussions, and I hope that all of these can also lead to success, to stabilization and peace, and also the leadership of Indonesia in the D8.
Thank you very much. I also appreciate and thank you for inviting me here, and also thank the Indonesian government and people for hosting myself and my embassy here. 2 days ago we had the Iranian National Day ceremony, and so many Indonesian officials, governmental and non-governmental, authorities, as well as the people of the Indonesia participated in the ceremony, and they shown the friendship and good cooperation between Iran and Indonesia. And I am always grateful for all hospitalities and good hosting of Indonesian government and people for myself and my colleagues. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And you're always welcome here. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Baik pemirsa, demikian perbincangan saya dengan Duta Besar Iran untuk Indonesia, His Excellency Mohammad Boroujerdi. Terima kasih telah menyaksikan International Corner. Sampai jumpa di International Corner berikutnya.